All right, what's up, people? I am going to be building a couple of solar-powered Meshtastic repeaters here. All right, let's see. Okay. Got our solar panel. I'm just going to write that this one is 6 watts on it so that I can remember. Let's see. Okay. These. Okay, so we got this kind of panel, 6 watts, and then this one is 7 watts. We got 2 in here, nice. Okay, so I can actually, let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, I got 5 solar panels, so theoretically I can build 5 repeaters today. All right. Okay, here's the other one. Okay, got a bunch of stuff here. All right, let's see. We got two different options for boxes here. So we got, these are, hang on, I'm gonna write the watts on these two. These are, how many watts? 7 watts. All right, 7 watts. Okay, so we got 4 solar panels. I got 4 of these are the batteries we're going to be using today. Our voltaic 75s. And these batteries can basically charge one of the Meshtastic repeaters for like 40 days or so without solar. So that's what we're going to be doing. And Dambo, yeah, we're going to be using Wisp block bases. Let me show those here. So I got the Meshtastic starter kit from Rack Wishblock. So that's the base we're going to be using for these here. All right, let's see. What should we do first? Well, we could just build one without a box, get it set up, make sure everything's working, and then put the box together. So I got the antennas over here. Other stuff I got is this is a drain plug for the box. What I found is that in Austin we get a lot of temperature swings, so the condensation in the box can kill the radio. So we're going to put one of those in. Let's see what else. We got solar panels. The way I'm going to do this one is I'm not going to mount the solar panel on the box because I found that often ends up with them being at a bad angle to the sun. So you got to have them at 30 degrees here at a 30 degrees latitude. Rule of thumb is always to angle the solar panel to your degrees of latitude. So it's like 30 degrees here in Austin, but if you're in Calgary, it'd be like 50 degrees. All right, let's see. So yeah, let's get building. I'm going to build the first one with this 6 watt solar panel. And let's see, build it with the voltaic battery, rack kit. We use one of these fiberglass antennas, which also means I need a type N to IPEX connector, which luckily I have right here. Okay, so this is a IPEX to type N connector with a, got a rubber O-ring on it. So I got two of them here. All right, so that's going to connect that to the radio. Got the radio there. All right, let's see. Okay, let's keep it simple and get it building here. All right. So this is the rack Wisblock kit. It is everything you need to have a standalone radio. You could just add a battery and then you're done. But we're not going to use the built-in antennas, only the Bluetooth built-in antenna. So this one's, you can see BLE on it. That's the Bluetooth antenna. This one's the LoRa antenna, which we're not going to use. Comes with a USB cable. And then it comes with these tiny little screws if you want to add modules like the GPS module, which we're not going to use because for this one we are just going to run it off of Bluetooth. So let's see here. All right, let's connect up our Bluetooth module. So you got to find where it says BLE on here. You just take the IPEX connector and you clip it in. Just push it in with your finger. Should feel a little click. Sort of felt a click. I guess that was it. All right. So then you can check it by kind of trying to wiggle it out. If it doesn't wiggle out, then you're good. And then the next connector is the IPEX N-type connector. So we will attach that here. And actually, give me a second. Let me think about this for a second, because if we are going to connect this one, where the antenna is going to be outside. All right, this one's going to have the antenna inside. So we might do a birdhouse later too, and that one will have the antenna outside. But for this one, we're just going to keep it simple. Actually, let me check what types of N-type connectors I have for when we do the birdhouse in a little bit. Okay, I got a much longer one. Rack kit, type IPEX. Okay, so yeah, we might end up having to do an N-type to N-type kind of like coax type thing going on, but we can figure that out later. All right, so I'm gonna clip this one in. There we go. And then I'm just gonna screw on the antenna because you should never power a radio on without the antenna on. Okay. And yeah, I like the gray antenna. This actually, I got a buddy here in town that does helium, which is like the cryptocurrency. So he had a bunch of extra antennas lying around, so he just donated them to the cause here. So I got like, I don't know, nine free antennas, more than I could use for a while. So and yeah, I will say this for later. I'll put it up on the Instagram. And let's see here. Yeah, I'm actually live on YouTube right now, so I'm going to keep that on YouTube as well. And for people on the YouTube channel, I'm also live on Instagram. That's why I'm getting like two different messages at the same time here. All right, let's see. So we got our kit here. So this is like, I'm keeping it as simple as I can possibly keep it. And all we're going to do here is connect hang on, let me remind myself how the voltaic charge is. I need the instructions here because I can't remember which is the input and which is the output on the voltaic. Oh, where's the instructions? All right, let's see. I'm just opening another one. There we go. So, okay, I'm just going to label these on here because it's too confusing otherwise. So we got, okay, we got the power level button. Is this all upside down? It's upside down. So power level, so it's full. Let's see. Number 2, power level indicator. Number 3 is micro USB input. So I'm going to label that. Input. Let's see. Number 4 is USB-C input. Okay, and then 5 and number 6 are output. So 5 and 6 are these two. So out. All right, so theoretically, if I just took this here and use that one for the solar, I'll use this one to plug into the, let's see here. All right, let's see. So theoretically, if I plug this in, it should boot up. Boom, there we go. It's booted up. And then this is going to connect to the input for the battery. And then this input to the battery is going to connect to the solar panel. And that's literally it. This is my like 5th iteration of doing these, and this is what I landed on because it is the absolute simplest way to build one of these kits. Like there's no soldering, there's no batteries, there's no charge controller, there's no solar power controller, whatever they call that. You're using the rack, what's it called, Texas Instruments green power module, which costs like $12 each, and it's it's just not worth it. This is a much simpler design. It's not necessarily cheaper. It's about the same price because this battery is quite expensive. It's like $80, $90, but this replaces something like 4 to 6 18650 batteries. It replaces a charge controller. It replaces a battery controller. It also means that if the power if the battery runs down, it'll just turn off the radio. And then once it's gotten enough solar charge, it'll turn itself back on. These voltaic batteries are always on, so they don't get tricked like some batteries. If you are pulling some power and then the radio doesn't pull any power for a little bit, and then it pulls some power, that'll trick the battery into shutting down. But these are just always on. So they're pretty great. All right, let's see here. And yeah, is it good for hot cold? It is. I don't know if they have actually. They might have the temperature rating on these things. Let me see if that's in the instructions here. Sometimes these are like certified for some temperature range. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so it says store between 20 Celsius and 35 Celsius, 68 to 95 Fahrenheit. Charge between 32 and 113 Fahrenheit. So yeah, when it's below freezing, these might not be doing great right now. Right now it's below freezing. It's like 20 something, 22 degrees out or something right now here in Austin, Fahrenheit. And then it says discharge between 5 degrees and 131 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, we're not getting up to 131. We do get up to like 115 here in Austin in the summer, and we get pretty wild swings where it'll go from like, I don't know, 80 degrees in the morning to 115 in the afternoon, and it'll be like 85% humidity in the morning, and it'll go to like 20% humidity in the afternoon. So, yeah, let's see. Don't get battery wet. Store in high humidity or otherwise short circuit. Okay, yeah. Don't assemble or tamper with the battery. Yeah, so these have a pretty good range. I've seen there's a guy up in Calgary that's got a repeater. It's actually awesome. It's like up over the mountains, and it pretty much covers all of Calgary. He's pretty active on the Discord, Meshtastic Discord, and he actually put a like a heater into his pack or his box. So like, he has one of these ABS type boxes, and then he has this little resistive heater that runs off the solar panel. And so when the whole thing is up there in the middle of winter in Calgary, the solar panel actually keeps the battery within the correct operating temperature, which I thought was pretty clever. We don't really need that here because it only gets below freezing for a day or two at a time. Ours mainly get killed by heat. Here is the issue. Okay, so we got, let's see, got everything set up. I could either flash the device or I could install it inside a box. Let me see. Guess I'll install it inside the box and then we'll flash it. That seems like a good plan. Let's do that. All right, so this here, screwdriver. All right, this box unfortunately does not have any like tabs on the side of it to mount it on stuff, so I'm not super happy with that. But I don't know. This one might end up inside a birdhouse. I guess we could do that, and then I just have to buy a little length of coax to connect the end types from the box to the extension on the birdhouse. Why don't we do that? We do that. Make a birdhouse here. All right, so we got the little seal on the box here. Might as well show off the birdhouse while I'm at it. All right, opening up boxes. Styrofoam everywhere. All right, this is Amazon's cheapest birdhouse that has a big enough roof to put a solar panel on it. So let's see, I'll show you what you got to do to be able to get everything in. Is you got to cut a hole in the back here, so we'll do that in a second. But then the cool thing about this is the front of this is just about perfect for putting a solar panel on. Like, I don't know if you can see, but you put it on, that's about centered, and it'll hold this whole battery pack, or this whole solar panel here. And then the idea is there's enough room inside here that once I cut a hole and everything, you just put your waterproof box inside. So that's what we'll do in a second. Let me get the everything set up inside the box, and then we'll start cutting some room around the birdhouse to get it in here. Okay, so okay. My phone timed out there. Let's see. Okay, let's get this thing. Gotta put the O-ring on the box lid. So I guess while I'm doing this, I can talk about water intrusion into these boxes because that's been a big issue that's killed probably 2 or 3 out of our repeaters has been just water getting into them. And luckily, I'm a member of a pretty great ham radio club here in town. It's called the Oak Hills Amateur Radio Club and 50AK, and they have in-person meetings, which is nice. And they actually, like the last meeting, we had like 30 people at it. It's crazy. It was like the most people I've ever seen at a ham radio meeting. Great club. Anyways, when I gave a presentation to them about Meshtastic, and then after the presentation, a bunch of people came up and were talking to me about different ways to waterproof things and like how to wrap your antenna in their preferred ways. This thing called proxy cast. But anyways, these guys have a ton of experience with running repeaters out in the elements here, especially here in Austin. And so basically what I found from talking with them is there's a few different things you got to think about. One is you always need a way for water to get out of your enclosure. And so that's why I got these things from Mauser. These are little vents essentially. But this is another thing they told me. They're like, make sure you get the vent that has a small enough opening that you don't get like spiders and stuff living up inside the enclosure. So this was the one they recommended. I got a link to it on awesomemesh.org. And so I've now been putting these on all of the enclosures, and the idea is if there's condensation, I mean, you can have a completely sealed enclosure, but if you have any kind of changes in temperature, like if it goes from hot and humid to cold, the existing humidity within the box will condensate on any kind of surface, and so often it'll condense right onto your board, and that'll fry your board. So that's one thing, is just having a way for the condensation to exit. So put this as low as you can in the box. Let's see, other things are wrapping, your any input or output, any hole in the box, like the hole for the antenna. You got to make sure you have an O-ring, tighten it down, and then they always guys in this radio club always wrap everything in proxy cast. Proxy cast is this cool. It looks like tape. Actually, I'll go grab it, but. Let's see here. All right, doing all the things. Okay, so this is ProxyCast. It is a silicone tape, and it basically looks like electrical tape when you open it up. But when you pull on it, it becomes elastic, like silly putty, and it turns essentially like into a putty, and then you can wrap it around and kind of mush it in, and then it becomes it seals on itself and becomes like a self-sealing way to keep the water out. Let me see here. Guessing the Voltaic is good for hot cold. Oh yeah. Sorry, I already replied to that. Yeah, Voltaic's good for hot and cold. All right, so got our box. We're gonna need to drill a hole for the vent. Might as well do that. Let's see here. Move the radio out of the way so I don't gotta keep the stickers in frame. There we go. Okay, gotta find one of these that's the right size here. So, too small. Too small. All right, I'll just start drilling up the hole size until we get one that works here. All right, I'm going to try to put it right here. So I'm going to kind of feel with my finger and then put it in. There we go. See if that's good. Yeah, that'll be good. All right, let's see. So yeah, happy Monday, happy MLK day off. It's actually why I'm able to do this, because I got a bunch of free time today. Oh, damn it. There we go. All right, gonna have to vacuum the house after this. So yeah, while I'm doing this mindless stuff, anybody feel free to ask me questions about Meshtastic. Oh, let's see, the T deck. Oh man, I have played with it a little bit. I might as well add that into the frame because it's pretty fun. T deck's pretty cool. It's like $50 or $60. Yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, so the T deck, boom, there we go. So it's like 50 or $60. It replaces for me this guy here, which is the Messenger, which is like $200. But that was, handmade by somebody, 3D printed. It's got a very cool case, all that. So, but yeah, the T deck is made by Liligo and is standalone Meshtastic device. As you can see, I don't have a case for it right now, so I just got I don't know, taped to the back here. But yeah, they're pretty cool. Let's see here. Based on your network, I'm guessing building owners are pretty open to you placing nodes. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, so when I was living back in the Bay Area, I was on the board of directors for a mesh network that was doing Wi-Fi. It was called the People's Open Network, or it is. It still exists, but it's just hasn't grown too much. But one of the issues with that is we were running Ubiquiti Wi-Fi routers, and you have to do power over Ethernet, and you have to have power on the roof. And it was really hard to convince building owners to drill a hole to run Ethernet so that you can power your device. But if you have like Meshtastic, where it is solar powered, it's a much easier ask to be like, hey, can I put this box on your roof that's like standalone? All I'm going to do is tighten it up to a pole or something up on your roof, and you don't have to worry about it like causing water intrusion or anything. And provides community service and all that good stuff. So yeah, I found it's been actually I have more places that I could put more places that people have volunteered to allow me to put these repeaters than I actually have repeaters. So that's one of the things I'm working on is just building out the repeaters, and then probably the next few ones are going to be on a couple of YouTube buildings. There's a art gallery on the east side, community space on the east side. What else we got? Sort of over by the domain, there's a hospital, or I have somebody that's offered to allow me to put it up there. Let's see, been playing with some cases from Liligo. It's got some pictures, video. Oh yeah, all right, nice. And And is the net on Fridays on the default channel? Yeah, so the net on Fridays, yeah, it's just on the default channel. Sorry, I was in San Diego last week, so I didn't check in on Friday. But yeah, it's on, we do it on the default channel here in Austin, but then it's also on MQTT, just on the default channel with MSH as the, the category or whatever they call it. And let's see, this person says, I work on cell towers here in the UK doing maintenance of the towers all over the country. This is perfect. Yeah, totally. I wish we had, I wish these were like, these Meshtastic repeaters were like built-in default when they put in cell phone towers, because they're a good like backup system. I'll try to do this without cutting my hand here. A good backup system if the solar, or if the cell phone tower goes out, solar powered. Repeater backup. All right, I got to keep going. This is a bigger hole than I thought. All right. Just go up through the numbers here. What else can I talk about? I guess I can talk about, I was thinking about doing some videos. I don't have a lot of free time. I got 2 kids and a full-time job, so it's hard to find time for all this. But I was thinking about doing some videos on kind of like why we would need Meshtastic, so I can sort of talk through that. And my thoughts are, there's a couple of different, they call them use cases, right? So like on the Meshtastic Discord, there's actually a sub Discord, subreddit, whatever, that's called use cases, where people sort of talk about why you would want to use Meshtastic. And, in kind of like day-to-day life, it's like somebody on YouTube said it's CB Radio 2.0. it's like a digital, community band, open to everybody. You can use a pseudonym. You don't have to be licensed, right? You don't have to like say your call sign and connect your identity to it, right? So it's sort of like CB Radio, where it's just people are like, hey, it's Big Bear here, like you can have your own pseudonym, and you can kind of talk to everybody. So yeah, that's sort of how I see it as well, just on a day-to-day basis. It's kind of like a digital text message version of CB Radio, which is like, it's useful for just talking with people. If you're, out on the road and without cell phone coverage, you can check in with people on road conditions, that kind of thing. If you're out off-roading, it can either replace, GMRS, or it can be like in addition to, using ham radio, GMRS, to be able to communicate with your buddies while you're operating. There we go. Okay, finally got it. It is, for the record, that can't be right. It's a 31/64th. All right. 31/64th it is. So it's probably metric. We're using freedom numbers here in Texas. So let's see here. All right, got some people joining, talking Meshtastic. So yeah, that's one of the key things about Meshtastic is it's kind of like CB Radio, where it's useful for just communicating with people. But then, all the sort of like, and I guess like along with that, right? It's like if you're off-roading, or if you're out camping, hiking, any place that doesn't have, cell phone coverage, right? So, Burning Man, music festivals often don't have cell phone coverage. Burning Man this year actually had like, I was watching that online. There were a whole bunch of Meshtastic repeaters set up, something like 20 or so. So people were using it, there to communicate. What else? All right, so we got that set. I guess I'll get back to the use cases once I get more of this put together here. So I think what I'm going to do is, like, inside the birdhouse, I'm going to set up like this. This is my drain plug. And then I'm going to put the antenna connector on this side, and then sort of after the fact, I'm going to connect up. I'm going to use I'm going to have to get like a coax N-type male to female pigtail. I'll just buy that online after this, but yeah, for right now I can put this in. Let me make sure, unplug the battery, make sure it fits. Yep. All right, and then yeah, we're just basically just going to put the radio up on top of this thing. I might even like put the radio inside, I don't know, a little piece of cardboard or something, just so that it's separated from everything else here. All right, so radio's unplugged, so it's not on, so I don't have to worry about disconnecting the antenna. Let's get the antenna screwed in here. Okay, I'm gonna take that out. So for the record, as far as how big this box is here, let me go get a ruler. Okay, I got metric and imperial for everybody who's happy. So it's like 8 inches long. The battery itself is 6 inches by 3 inches. So for the other 90% of the world, that is 200 millimeters in length and 120 millimeters wide, or about 115 millimeters wide. And then so the battery itself is 150 millimeters by like 80 millimeters or so. So you need to get a box that's big enough. This one has plenty of room. You want, actually a little bit of extra room for your pigtail connector, for the antenna. So, all right, let's get drilling here. Here we are. We got some more questions. Have you found a good way to mount a node in a vehicle? No, I haven't done that yet. Partly because there's not a lot of like good mobile antenna options. There's a lot of people out there that have VHF radio in their car, right, or UHF for GMRS, but like VHF for ham radio will be like 144 megahertz, and then you'll have like a whip type antenna. I guess I'm going to do this one a little bit higher than normal, just keep it like away from the battery, so like about there. That's a little too high. There we go. But what I have seen is like on YouTube, there's a couple of they call them lip mounts, and basically have like this bracket that you'll like open your trunk, right, and then where the trunk kind of like meets the rear window of the car, it'll be nice and nice flat piece of steel, and so you take the lip mount, it basically doesn't screw into it, it screws around it. So it's like a C-clamp, and imagine this is your piece of metal, and then you put it around the C-clamp, and then it has a screw that you screw in that kind of like tightens it into it. And then there's ones that have like a 2-axis adjustment on them. And so then you can make sure your antenna is like completely vertical. And then, you just got to run an antenna basically down through the trunk. And then, in the case of Meshtastic, it's not like a CB radio or something where you have to have the handheld receiver up in the front of the car. So you could just have it, right there. And then, most cars I would say have either a cigarette lighter in the trunk, or some of the newer ones will have like a USB in the trunk, which is nice. So you can just put the radio right in the trunk. But yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to look at. And then there's also like antenna placement on a car matters, because the steel of the vehicle will act as like a ground plane to sort of help reflect the signal, to make it go further. Hope that wasn't too loud for you guys. So the the what people have found for the optimal place to put an antenna on a car is kind of like, imagine this is a car, it's like, and this is the trunk, and that's the front of the car. It's like kind of on the, rear quarter. So it's like either here, or like up right next to the windshield on one side or the other. And that kind of uses like the fenders, will act as a ground plane and like reflect the signal. So yeah, I don't know, putting it on a car is definitely one of the ideas. I have one just in the car, just plugged in all the time. But I'm not doing anything fancy with the antenna. So far, coverage has been pretty good, even when it's just in the car, like in the glove box. All right, I guess I'll keep going here. So yeah, use cases. Other use cases are, well, like there's a lot of like hobbies and sports and stuff that sort of take you out into places without cell phone coverage. So like skiing, this time of year, a lot of people are out skiing. I know I've been on mountains where like the front part of the mountain's fine and you got cell phone coverage, but then you go on the back part of the mountain and there's, nothing. And so if you're trying to like meet up with your, friends to go get lunch or something, oh man, just died. All right. Luckily I'm charging the battery in the other room. All right, hold on. All right, and we're back. Okay, so yeah, so if you're like, out skiing, right, and you're on the rear side of the mountain, and you want to be able to meet up with your friends for lunch, right? Having Meshtastic repeaters, you can just keep one like this. This is kind of my favorite, like just carry around, is the Little Go T Echo. Battery will last on that thing for like 2 days at least. Sometimes it'll last like nearly the whole week. So, just keep one of those in your jacket if you're out skiing, and then, if there's enough of you on the mountain, you should be able to communicate with each other. Yeah, it'd be cool if like, ski mountains started putting Meshtastic repeaters up on the top of the mountain. What else? So like other sports that, you're kind of far away from everybody, but need to communicate. I don't know, things like hunting, fishing. The Meshtastic LoRa, 915 megahertz LoRa works really well over water. The current range record for distance on a Meshtastic device is something like it's like over 1,000 miles, and it's from Portugal to a Portuguese fishing trawler off the coast of Portugal. So it can travel many dozens of miles at least. So if you're like a offshore fishing vessel, Meshtastic could be a really good solution for just a backup for your marine radio. Or just you don't always hear your radio. I was crab fishing with a buddy. We were off of just Baker Beach in San Francisco a couple months ago, and he was out off the side like pulling the crab pots, And I was, inside the cabin and, was listening to the Marine VHF. And, if you're off on the back of your boat pulling crab pots, you're not going to hear your radio. But if you have a Meshtastic device, your buddy could send you his coordinates and be like, "Hey, I just got 8 crabs over here," and then it's asynchronous as far as time goes, so you can get it without having to, you can get it a few minutes later, about once you're back at the cabin. All right, let's see. Yeah, hunting. If you're out deer hunting out in the woods. I'm from Wisconsin. A lot of people go deer hunting. Um, that's one of those where you probably don't have cell phone coverage, but if there's a group of you out there, you can communicate with each other, and you can communicate without voice, so you don't scare the deer. All right, let's see here. I gotta cut a hole for this thing. Let's see. Oh, I got a bunch of questions on here. Currently building several self-contained solar Meshtastic nodes. Fun to watch this. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, get after it. And don't the Wisbot come with an incorporated solar charging system? Yeah, they do, but it sucks. What I've found is that the internal chip on the Wisbot, and I guess I can show you that here. So, like, if you can see this is the input for the battery, and then the smaller one is the input for the solar panel. And so, yeah, you can put your solar directly into this, and it does have on, this is the baseboard, they call it, and then this is the actual rack chip. Yeah, but on the baseboard there is a solar powered solar charge controller rather, but it sucks. If you send in any kind of voltage that isn't exactly what it's expecting, it'll either it'll turn off the rack, or it can put it into a fault state, which the only way to then wake the radio back up is to go physically to it and push the reset button on it, which I can't do when it's up on a tower on top of a 30-story building. So yeah, I found I do not trust the solar charge controller at all on the rack Wisbot kit. Yeah, solar is a great idea. Yeah, I mean these are to me, like, if these are really going to be useful in an emergency, which today is nearly an emergency in Austin. They sent us they sent us a emergency alert because people here aren't used to cold weather. But if the power goes out, we actually got a text from ERCOT last night saying we need to conserve power because the grid could go down, which is always fun to get those texts. This is if it's solar powered, it's backup to all that, and that's honestly the main thing that I think Meshtastic is important for, is kind of like disaster preparedness. If there's, if the grid goes down, it could take days or weeks to bring it back up. If it actually goes down, like fully goes down across the entire interconnect, in the US we have 3 interconnects. We have the WEC, the West Coast, we have the East, and then we have ERCOT, which is basically just Texas. And if the whole grid goes down, you have to do what's called a black start, which you have to get the power plants back up and running, and then importantly, you have to get the frequency of the power of all the power plants matching each other. And there's a really cool YouTube video about that. What's his name? Grady from engineering. What's it called? Everyday Engineering on YouTube. He did a good video on what it takes to black start a grid, and it can be it can take like days or weeks. That was not the right size Hole, I thought it was, but I have another one. Let's see. This is the other one. All right, so this must be the right size, and this is a 5/8. Yeah. All right. So these N-type connectors are 5/8 inch. All right, that's the first time I've heard a complaint about the Wisblock solar controller. Yeah, have you had that happen multiple Wisblocks or multiple solar panels? Yes, I have. I've had it happen to multiple Wisblocks and multiple solar panels, um, to the point where I do not trust it anymore. And if I was not going to be using this voltaic system, I would be running my own charge controller. What are they? It's not MQTT. It's like MPTT or something. There's like a protocol for charge controllers, and I'd be running my own like charge controller chip, similar to like a charge controller chip you'd have for like an off-grid, house or something. And I would make sure that it had essentially like a smart circuit on it that if it lost power or the battery drained all the way down, it would shut itself off, but then restart itself. But that's pretty much what this does, or that's exactly what this does. So if this battery runs out, it will turn itself off, or it'll stop the power out, and then it will continue accepting power in from the solar panel until it is sufficiently charged, and then it'll turn itself back on, and that's pretty cool, because then you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go back up into the tower to reset it or anything. The rack board will power itself on via USB. And so yeah, it's pretty good. All right, let's see exactly my thoughts. Others are saying that Wisblocks are the only boards out there at the moment that have a built-in solar charging system. Yeah, and I don't need to use a rack board. I could, even simpler, right? I could just take the solar panel and charge it right, plug it right into this thing. Boom, that's a repeater. And like you could just put this in a Ziploc bag and you're done. Like that would technically be like an outdoor, solar powered repeater. The reason I like the rack though is because it pulls such little power. They pull something like 400 milliamp hours per day, and so it'll be between like 200 and 1,000 milliamp hours a day, which is not that much power. For reference, this is a 20,000 milliamp hour battery, so 400 a day. This will last many, many, many days without any solar. So. Can you link us to the battery? Yeah, the link's on the website. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. I'm not making any money off this. This is just my hobby. It's on awesomemesh.org. I got a link to it on there. Let's see. I missed a comment here. Just for clarity, it sounds like you're going to use solar panel to charge a USB power block, and then the output from the power block goes to the USB connector on the Wisblock. That's exactly right, yeah. So again, this is just going to be solar panel to battery, so battery in, and then battery out into the rack, which just turned on there. So that's it. Oh shit, I just turned it on without a antenna connected. Don't tell anybody. Hopefully that didn't burn it out. It's probably not transmitting because it doesn't have any firmware on it. All right, so got this set up here. I think this is the correct size hole now, 5/8. So time to put this in. Okay. Oh, the other thing, yeah, sorry. On one of them, I put the O-ring on the inside instead of the outside. That is incorrect. That is incorrect according to folks from my ham radio club that saw one, and they're like, no, you need to put the O-ring has to go on the outside. So That's what we're doing here. Yeah, and as far as like other use cases, I'm just thinking that that would be a cool video to do is like use cases for Meshtastic. Um, you know, there's a lot of like, I don't know, there's a lot of like, you know, dudes that are really into guns, I guess, that are into Meshtastic. So people that like go play paintball or what's the one that's like paintball, but they use these like little plastic BBs, airsoft. Yeah, so there's like people that do airsoft, you know, and it's like I don't know. Yeah, you go out on the weekend and it's like playing a military game, right? So you get like you know these are useful for that. You know, coordinating tactics and all that stuff. Um, Supposedly, there's a bunch of these Meshtastic devices being used like in the Ukrainian war right now. I don't know if that's true. I've seen them pop up on MQTT, which is interesting. Like I'll see, you know, nodes pop up like near Crimea on MQTT, which is fascinating. All right, so got this thing, got this thing. I think we're pretty much done. That's that. This is pretty much a node. So let's attach the antenna. I tighten it down. For this one, I am not going to wrap it in proxy cast because what I'm going to do for this one is I am going to put this inside a birdhouse, and so I'm going to end up taking this and putting like a small pigtail from one to the other. Oh shoot! I gotta get this solar panel into the box. So not done yet. Not done yet. I got to drill another hole to put in a way to get that into the box here. So let's do that. Disconnect this. All right, let me think about this for a second. How can I got a few different options for cable pass-throughs. I got this kind, that kind. I got like a grommet kit around here somewhere. Grommets. All right, I think this is my best option. I wish this thing didn't have such a chunky adapter here. That's kind of stupid. I don't like that one bit, but I think I'm going to run that into here via this and try to keep everything nice and dry. So let's see if I can get this in. So yeah, this is also, I have a link to this on the awesomemesh.org. It's a 3/4 NPT cable gland. But the way this works is you drill a hole and then you put this through. And actually the hole you got to drill is you got to use a hole saw because it's too big to drill with a regular bit. So I'm going to drill a small hole, put this in, hole saw it. Then you connect this in like that. And then the cool thing about these is I'll try to do this so you can see the hole close. So you go like this. And then as you tighten it down, the hole gets like smaller and smaller and smaller. And it basically like cinches itself around your cable. So that is what we're going to do. And then I'm going to obviously wrap the cable a bunch in ProxyCast and maybe also put in, I got like a grommet. Got to keep everything waterproof. So I got a bunch of grommets. So I'll probably put a grommet and ProxyCast and this thing. But first, most importantly, I need to be able to get this cable through this thing, which I don't know who designed this, but this is stupid because it's way, way too big. And that is not going to easily fit through here. So let me think for a second. I got two options. I can either use this solar panel Or I can use a different solar panel, but then I'm still stuck with this problem if I don't if I don't use this for a different project. So I'm just going to take a knife and I'm going to whittle this down. And then note to self, I'm not going to buy this one again. This is from Amazon. I need to check these plugs before I buy another one, but like, yeah, this is the same one. Just causing me more work here. Yeah, same issue on that one. That's all right. So it is what it is. Just have to whittle this down. I'm gonna try to do this without cutting my hand off here. All right, while I'm whittling, what else? Anybody got questions about Meshtastic while we're whittling here? Yeah, so other use cases. Meshtastic is interesting because it is also encrypted. So you can send, obviously, you can send a group chat to everybody on the network, and it's unencrypted, and everybody can see it. That's if you're sending it to the default channel. But you can also create a secondary channel, and the secondary channel is encrypted. So if you want to like have a group chat that is encrypted, create a secondary channel. You can also like DM people, so you can send a direct message to people, and that is also encrypted. So you can think of like, what is a use case where it would be helpful to have essentially a encrypted group message that is anonymous and local, right? And so one of the use cases that people have talked about is like protests. The Hong Kong protests that were happening, it was like a few years ago. They were using a mesh network app called Fire Chat, I believe. Worked over Bluetooth on their. It had to be, I think, on Androids. But then you only have like a 20-foot radius to mesh with people. But you could or if you were at one of those if you're at the Hong Kong protest, you could use a Meshtastic device, and it would allow you to coordinate with your group. What else could you do? We have my buddy who gave me these helium antennas. He's big into cryptocurrency. He's here in Austin. And I was texting with him the other day that we should do a like a Bitcoin transaction or a Monero transaction over Meshtastic. You can send 228 characters, I believe. So it's theoretically it's long enough to be able to send a what they call an offline signed wallet transaction. So you would like create the transaction on your laptop. It creates like a 200 character string of numbers and letters. You send that over Meshtastic, and then the other person would copy and paste it into their web browser, put it in the internet. So you could send cryptocurrency over Meshtastic, and you could send it encrypted, so nobody could see that you were doing it, which is pretty cool. And you could do that essentially anonymously, or pseudo anonymously, because you don't have to associate your name with the Meshtastic device. So that's kind of interesting. All right, what does he got here? Can you link us to the battery pack? Yeah, link to the battery packs on the website, awesomemesh.org. It's in the table on there. I think that power bank has an all-in-one. Yeah, power bank's an all-in-one, so yeah, it does like everything. Had various battery packs that have been sitting around. None of them would power the unit while it was accepting a charge. Yeah, that's the issue, man. So I have another battery pack here that I just use for like charging my phone. This thing it will not keep running, right? If you run a Meshtastic device off of that, it will shut itself down after an hour or so. Whereas, yeah, the Voltaic systems battery will just keep running. All right, well, I include a parts list. Yeah, parts list is on the website, awesomemesh.org. Let's see. How long is this going to take for me to whittle this thing down? Am I even close? Getting there. Well, you can ask me questions about Meshtastic while I am whittling away. This is a really stupid waste of time to have to whittle this thing down to make it fit through the cable gland. But you got to keep everything everything waterproof. If it's not waterproof, it will definitely get water in it. That's what I've found. Definitely gonna have to vacuum after this. All right. Try to do this where I don't cut my hand off. All right, getting there. Getting there. Start on the other side. How is the network coverage in South Austin? It's okay right now. William Cannon South Congress. Yeah, it's so we had the repeater that is up on the YouTube building died. I was in San Diego last week, but I was watching it. It died like during the week last week, and I was talking to Rusty from our ham radio club last night on the repeater, and he was like, "Isn't that always how it is? You know, right when you need something, that's when it dies, right?" Yeah, it's funny. Like the battery for this for this drill here, right when I needed it, that's when it died. It died. It was at like 0% battery for weeks. And so when it got to 0%, like a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, that's it, it's dead. But it kept going. So yeah, it died a couple days ago. I don't expect it to reboot itself because it does not have one of these types of batteries. That's why I'm replacing all the repeaters on kind of hard to get to places with this full tank battery, because I don't want to have to go back up and deal with it. The other thing I'm thinking about doing with replacing the repeater is, instead of using this like tiny little antenna that comes for Bluetooth, you know, so it's got this little like Bluetooth antenna, little patch thing, is like putting a proper antenna, a Bluetooth antenna, on the outside of the box. Because with that repeater, when you're down on the street, like I was down on the street and I was almost able to connect to it via Bluetooth. And if I had an antenna for Bluetooth on there, which is, by the way, antennas for Bluetooth are just 2.4 gigahertz, so they're the same as Wi-Fi antennas. But if I had one on there, then I would be able to connect to it from the street. And I mean, one, you could like send messages from it, but two, if you have a solid connection, you can upload firmware to it. So that's my goal for the next one here, is I will put a outside Bluetooth antenna on it so that I can basically remotely connect to it and update it. But yeah, network coverage is pretty crappy right now around South Congress. It was good once we had that repeater up, but right now basically the only repeater we have kind of on this side of town is mine, and I'm over by the Alma Draft House on South Lamar. So it's sort of, yeah, it's not super great coverage right now. We had another one that was over by the what's it called? The Broken Spoke on South Lamar, the old country music venue. But that one also died, and that one had a very similar setup to the one that's up on the YouTube building, where it was just, I think I had 4 18650 batteries in there, and they did not last. So, all right, I think I whittled that down. Oh, it's getting close. It's getting close. I think I'll be able to take this like grommet. I guess I got to get it through that one too. Got to keep whittling. All right, what else else we got here? Would a water absorbent pack be good? Yeah, that's something I thought about putting in these is like a dust can pack. Um, what what the guys at the Ham Radio Club said, I talked to them about using that. They were like, well, you're never gonna get the enclosure completely airtight. They're like, you know, even if you think it's airtight, like the wild temperature swings are going to cause, the plastic to expand and contract, and so you're still going to get some air in there. Um, and so, their philosophy was instead of attempting to make something completely airtight, that you just treat it as if there will be some moisture in it at some point in time, and you give it a way for the moisture to get out, and you put the components inside of it in a way where if there is some moisture pooling in it, it will not be pooling on top of your components. And so that's kind of the philosophy I'm using right now. Um, what else can I say about that? Yeah, I don't know. It's also just, yeah, it's sort of, you get big like thunderstorms, you get big wind gusts. It's a lot for a repeater to deal with on top of a 30-story building or on top of a 200-foot tower. It's a lot. So yeah, having a way for the water to get out is key. Trying to make it airtight isn't necessarily gonna do it. Let's see. Get yourself a stepper bit. Cuts down on the amount. Oh yeah, I should get one of those stepper bits, right? Where it's like it looks like a bunch of pyramids. Yeah, I totally should get one of those. That's a good idea. All right. Oh, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Now if I can just whittle that down to this size, then we're good. Boy, what a pain in the ass this is here. Yeah, what else? Guess I could keep talking about use cases for Meshtastic. Yeah, I sort of joke about it on the awesomemesh.org website, where it's like, you can use it to tell people where your band is playing or ask for a cheese dip recipe. It's kind of like a community organizing, message board, right? Um, and yeah, I mean, disaster preparedness, right? Like if the power goes out, you can tell people, well, one, you can see, you can ask, is there, does anyone here have power anywhere in town? So you can see if the power outage is, localized to you or if it's very widespread. Obviously, is like Meshtastic would be used in addition to other means of communication, right? If the cell phone is out, you would still be able to, listen to the FM radio and listen to the news stations on AM FM radio, talk about the power outage or whatever. But it's like, one more way to get in touch with people. It's also got a mapping feature, so you could, if you're like the Red Cross or something, you could put your repeater on a map, and then you could broadcast out to everybody and be like, "Hey, we have a warming center here at the Red Cross. If you need help, just follow your map on your Meshtastic device to the warming center." Oh, getting close. Oh, can I just push it through? Nah, not quite. So yeah, disaster preparedness. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what other reasons we would be using Meshtastic, but it's I like the phrase that forget who it was on YouTube, but they said this is CB Radio 2.0. It's sort of anything you could use CB radio for, like you're out, you're a trucker out on the open road and you're in a place that doesn't have cell phone coverage. You can send a message to other truckers and see if there's an issue. even that, like, I don't know, we were coming back from the Austin F1 race, and it's like theoretically in the middle of Austin, and like we didn't have any cell phone coverage on the back road behind the Circuit of the Americas there, right? And it's like there was a huge line of traffic, and we were waiting there for half an hour, and it's like, man, we didn't have cell phone coverage, so we didn't have Waze, or Google Maps, so we didn't really know where the traffic was. It would have been nice to hop on Meshtastic and be able to be like, hey, are you guys stuck in traffic too? Just you see on the map where other people are. Yeah. Oh, almost. All right. I guess I could talk about the other meshes I've seen. So I'm on MQTT. I'd recommend anyone who has a Meshtastic device in their house, and if they don't have a good mesh in your city, you definitely should get set up with MQTT so you can communicate with the other MQTT nodes around the world. That's been pretty awesome, pretty rewarding, and you get to see cool meshes spring up. Like so far, the ones that I've been impressed with are Calgary, number one. Calgary has an awesome mesh. They have a repeater that's up on a mountain on the west side of Calgary, and it basically covers like the whole city and goes out like 100 miles. So like people way out in the plains are able to get on Meshtastic. But then if you look at like where the other nodes are popping up, they're kind of all over downtown into the suburbs, and so that's pretty cool. There's a pretty good mesh in Portland, Oregon. I think also there's a repeater kind of on the hill there west of downtown, and so that's kind of helping out the Portland mesh. I've seen. All right, okay. This will go through now. Now let me think about this for a second. I need to be able to. Oh, what a mess! What a mess! All right, I'm just gonna push all this onto the floor, and I will vacuum it up later. Okay. All right, solar powered Meshtastic repeater. So let's see. Should I put the power in? I'm going to put it on the opposite side. And let's get the drill. So yeah, Portland's got a good mesh going. Calgary's got the most impressive meshes in Calgary. I'm gonna try to put this kind of up and to the right here, so it's sort of, if there is any water in here, it will stay the heck away from this connector here. Actually, let me just go like that and try to mark it using this thing. There's a really good mesh in like Salzburg, Austria, I want to say. And that it's not easy doing radio in a mountainous area. Anyone who knows anybody that's into ham radio from the Appalachians in the U.S. Will know that it's really hard to get line of sight. Dang it. It's really hard to get line of sight with radios like in Appalachia, because you have the mountains will block your signal, and if you're going to do repeaters, you got to do like a lot of repeaters. So it's impressive that in the Austrian Alps they have a pretty solid Meshtastic mesh setup there. I think it just might be there's a lot of like radio enthusiasts in Austria, Germany. Oh, it's bit sucks. All right, do the next one. Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those. Get one of those stepper bits. That's where it's at. Note to self: buy a stepper bit. All right, here we go. Don't lose my hand. Oh man, making a mess here. All right, making a mess. Key is to get this thing, get this like plug out of here. I guess that's another benefit to the stepper is you don't have this like thing get stuck in here. All right, there we go. Cool. Cool. All right, so we got this thing set up. Just making a mess. I'm gonna need like a broom, not a vacuum cleaner after this. Okay, so now we put, this is called the cable gland, and the idea with this thing is it allows you to do a pass through on your USB cable, and then you can tighten it up into it. Oh, damn it. Did I do it too close to the edge there? Damn it. I did it too close to the edge there. All right. I'm an idiot. Did it too close to the edge. I'm going to have to... damn it. All right, now I'm going to have to cut into this thing to be able to get it going here. That's no bueno. Wonder if I could just like drill some progressively larger holes into that thing, and that would help me get some room. Up, and I just lost this guy. Went into sleep mode. There we go. Okay. Yeah, all right, and then yeah, one of the comments here is I'm definitely going to be using this battery pack. The simpler the better. I agree. Simpler the better, and having a simpler solution also means that if something goes wrong, it's easier to pinpoint why it went wrong, which I also find helpful. All right, I'm going to try to do this in such a way that I don't drill through all of this. Yeah, I don't know. Working with these ABS boxes is kind of the most painful part of doing this process. And honestly, I'm gonna spend some time looking around for my perfect box. Would be something like this that is, 200 millimeters long by 100 millimeters, something like that. That has like tabs. I want tabs on it so I can screw it into something, like screw it into a tree or a wall or a, whatever. And then would also, it's gotta be waterproof, but then also would have holes like this hole that I already have pre-drilled into it. So I know some of them have, they're like, they call them electronic hobby boxes. They have the holes already drilled in. That would be nice. That way I don't have to do all this nonsense of drilling all these holes in. And the other thing that I've sort of switched to my tactics here is from moving from having the antenna right off of the box. I think what I'm going to be doing is I got some of these brackets, and I'm going to be switching from that to instead having the antenna have like a pigtail that goes to this thing, and then screwing this in either to the side of the, in this case we're going to be a birdhouse, or if it's up on a building, then I would just take that and use a, what do you call it, a hose clamp to clamp that down onto whatever I'm trying to attach the antenna to. And there's like, I don't know, at least two reasons why I would do that. First reason is it's simpler. I'm trying to drill this here and focus. There we go. So you can move the antenna higher, and then you don't have your, if it's connected to the box, you don't have the box up out in the elements. Two, the antenna, especially if you use a much bigger antenna like this one, the wind is blowing on it. And so if it is connected to the case, it's moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on a plastic box, which will fatigue the box. And so I've had a previous one where the box failed because the antenna had so much wind on it. So that's another reason to separate the antenna from the box. And then I guess third is just it allows you to kind of waterproof your boxes here. All right, let's see. Can I now whittle this thing to give me, all I need is like a little bit of room. Need a little room here. All right, got building a Meshtastic solar powered repeater. Getting there. Wish I had measured twice and cut once instead of measuring 0 times and cutting once. And now I'm like measuring 0 times and cutting 50 times. That's how it always is. All right. Getting close. All right, I'm going to use a ridiculously big bit. Just see if I can shave some off here. Well, that's not going to work. All right, let's see. Just trying to make enough room so that I can get this thing in here. So that'll work. Guess I'm gonna have to drill. What I'm gonna do is drill another hole on top and then connect the 2 holes. Man, this is a waste of time here. Let's see. All right, man, is it our 11:30 already? Okay, here we go. Well, feel free to ask any questions about Meshtastic while I am doing surgery on this box here. Let's see. I guess for any new people, I can explain what Meshtastic is. Meshtastic is a encrypted wireless mesh network that allows you to send text messages to anyone in your local area. You don't need a license. You don't have to be a ham radio operator. Anybody can join. Meshtastic itself is open source, and so you do not need to uh, I like to say you don't have to ask permission to join the network. You can just flash your node and get on, and anybody that's around you will be able to you'll be able to communicate with, and every single node, and like this is a node, this is a T echo. So every single node repeats every single message on the network. So the more people that use Meshtastic, the more useful it becomes, which is nice. All right, okay, we're really close now. All right, let me cut this crap up here. All right, this will be fine for the birdhouse. This one, this one was not my best work, so this one is not going to go up on a UT tower. But for birdhouse, this will be fine because it'll also be protected from the elements by the birdhouse itself. All right, there we go. Pull all this dust out. Okay, now can I connect this and put this in and screw this in? Let's find out. Nope, kind of sideways here. Damn it. All right. Let's see. Drill some more holes. All right, let's see. So yeah, I think after this live stream, I'm gonna be looking around at ABS boxes, project boxes, and trying to find one that is going to have mounting tabs on it and have a couple of holes already drilled into it. Sort of save me time on these other ones. Okay. And my thought of going live today is I'm already spending my time on putting this together. So instead of just sitting here and listening to music, which is what I'd probably do, is I might as well go online and give people an opportunity to ask questions about Meshtastic. So if you got Meshtastic questions, ask away. I don't know if I'm an expert, but I'm spend enough time playing around with them. It's also funny, like just thinking about. So I started this club. We call it Austin Mesh here in Austin. We have we now have like 30 members, 31 I think was the last time I checked. And you know, it's a cool group of people. It's definitely like some of the most interesting people I have met in Austin. And I want to say it's like a mixture of people that are like, you know, ham radio nerds. Which is, I would put myself in that camp. There's like preppers, you know, so we've got some people that are like real into prepping, which is good. I should probably be more into prepping. I got my food and water and whatever, but that's a whole thing you can do. It's definitely, it's definitely a useful tool for a disaster situation. So we got people that are interested in prepping that are in the group. And then I like to joke, it's like the horseshoe theory of politics, where the far left and the far right sort of meet in the middle, where we have people that are kind of like, I would describe as, almost like left-wing anarchists, and then also very right-wing people. And it's cool because you have this, it's a technology. It's completely neutral as far as politics go, and it appeals to many, many different people from many different walks of life for different reasons. But if we all work together and put together some Meshtastic devices, it should be beneficial to everybody. So that's been kind of interesting. All right, is this going to work now? Let's see. Oh, getting there, getting close. Okay, I think this is going to be good enough. Send it. Yeah. All right, we're good. What else? All right, we got a guy that says, I got a node pop up occasionally, and it's not mine, but it's on long fast. Can I use it as a repeater to my buddy? Absolutely, you can. And when should I send a message? When I send a message, does the app give me a cloud check mark? Okay, when I send a message, the app gives me a cloud check mark. Does that mean the other repeater received and repeated it? When I send direct Laura to Laura. So I will say it probably means if you get in that cloud check mark that says, and on iPhone, it just says acknowledged, I think. That means that the other repeater, if those are the only two repeaters, if you only have one repeater in your house, only one node running in your house, then yes, that other repeater got it and repeated it. Now, if you have like two in your house, then it's possible just, the other node in your house got it and repeated it within your house, but it's not, it's not going anywhere else outside your house. So the way you can figure that out is there is a traceroute function in the app. You go into, oh man, I'm gonna want to say like config, and then you go into traceroute, and it should show you. You hit traceroute, send a message, and then it'll like show you where or like how that message was sent through the system. Oh, this is I'm a little worried that if I push this through, it's gonna get stuck, and then I'm hosed. So I'm just gonna whittle this a little bit more. Let's see. Oh man, low battery. All right, well, when this thing runs out, live stream's over. Let's see. What else can I say? I send a direct Laura to Laura. I get a head shoulders check. What does that mean? A head shoulders check? I don't know what that means. All right, there we go. That's getting. That is going through. Let me close my knife before I do this. All right. Solar panel almost into the box. Get in there. So I can use my pliers and pull it through. Oh man, this is the worst part of the box, is getting a solar USB-A connector into the box in a way that is watertight is not easy. All right, let me see if I can push it through like this way. Oh, it's not going. Gotta whittle some more. All right, let's see. All right, hello from Brazil. Been playing around with Meshtastic. Thanks for the videos. Congratulations. Thanks, buddy. Hope everything's good in Brazil right now. Actually, let me grab a a lightning cable just to charge my phone so it doesn't die on me here. All right, let's see. Plug in phone in. All right, phone's plugged in, so we won't lose the live stream here. Okay. I forgot to put the tightening ring on before threading the USB plug. The tightening ring. Oh yeah. Oh, thanks. Yes, you are right. That would have been crappy. Thank you for that. All right, let me whittle this down, and then I will put the tightening ring on, and then I will put the USB thing through. All right, we are down to the metal on that one now. That is as far as that's going to go. Let's whittle this part back. Yeah, they did not design this plug to be able to fit through anything. So yeah, tightening ring on. Oh, and that's actually good because that showed me where it was binding, which is back here. All right. Cool. Why is this screen? Oh man, the screen on my phone keeps turning off. It is annoying. There we go. Okay, got the tightening ring on. Shove this thing through. Boom goes the dynamite. It is connected. Now, the key is I am going to try to get a grommet around this thing. I'm going to put a grommet on it, and I'm also going to wrap it in ProxyCast after I've tightened everything down. So that's the plan. See how good this plan works here. I'm going to try to get a grommet that's like about the same size as this cable. So let's see, a grommet that's about like one of the smaller ones. Yeah, none of these are great. Okay, I guess that'll do. Do that, and I'm gonna take my grommet and cut it. Trying to cut myself here. You know what? I need scissors because I have scissors. Is the consensus the wisp block is not good for solar? I think the consensus is, the wisp block, if you're going to use the charge controller on the wisp block, it needs a little something extra. And I've seen 3 different options now. One is it's called the Green Power Module from Texas Instruments. It is on the RAC website. It's on, Rockland, which is the distributor. It's on there. And so I've used that one. I'm pretty happy with it. It's actually in the birdhouse that's out in my backyard right now running. So, and that's been running for months. And that one is still running, even though all this crazy weather's been going on. So pretty happy with that one. And then there's one that's made by like a company called like Palau, and I've tried that one, and that one didn't work as well, even though it costs more. And then there's another one made by just a guy, and it's called it's confusing because this battery is made by a company called Voltaic Systems, and his chip that is like a solar charge controller is also called Voltaic, but it's not Voltaic Systems. It's just like his own thing. But I got 10 of those because I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'll use these. And I have one of those running, and it's been working pretty well. So if that keeps running for a few more months, I guess I'll recommend that too. But that is that's kind of where I'm at with these, is that the I don't know, the solar charge controller on the rack leaves a lot to be desired. It's not super reliable, and if you get into this, apparently if you go to, it's a known problem with the rack chip. It's actually the problem with the Nordic chip that's inside the rack, is if it gets to 3.3 volts exactly, then it'll put it into a fault condition, which some people call super deep sleep, which can only be taken out of by physically touching the reset button on the rack chip, which obviously is not easy to do if you're it's out in the middle of nowhere. So anyways, that's why I'm like, I haven't been super happy with it. Oh, to tell you what I'm doing right now, I am just, so I put a grommet on, and then I'm wrapping it in ProxyCast, and then that's going to create like a little plug, so that when I tighten this thing down, it'll tighten around that plug, and then I'm also going to wrap the whole thing in ProxyCast again. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, that was Andy Kirby about CB 2.0. Yeah, I love that. That's a funny, clever phrase, clever explanation, and I think it's the kind of explanation that, like, I don't know, I was home visiting my parents for the holidays and trying to explain Meshtastic, and it's like the kind of explanation you can give to a boomer or somebody. I'd be able to explain that, it's just like, remember the 70s and you use CB radio? It's like that, except it's like text messages. It's like, it's a funny, pithy, simple explanation for, you can explain Meshtastic to anybody. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. CB's funny. I was on my radio last night just playing around because of, the emergency. Or the, the weather's so crazy here. All right, so perfect. See, all right, let me see if I can line this up so you can see what's going on here. So I wrap this. It's going to fit like a plug right there. And then you take this thing and then you just screw it down onto there. And that will seal around it. Get nice and tight. Boom. All right, and so now that's like all wedged the heck in there. So that is not going anywhere. All right, and I got 10 more minutes because I gotta be on a call in 10 minutes here. So unfortunately, sorry we didn't get as far along as I was hoping to get here, but I'll try to wrap it up in the next 10 minutes here. All right, let's see. So yeah, hopefully, I would, hopefully you guys will take this and start thinking about putting a solar powered repeater around. I would sort of say for anybody that's interested in Meshtastic, number one, just get yourself a device like this, a T-Echo. Get it set up, go to flasher.meshtastic.org while it's plugged into your USB, and it's got to be on a Chrome browser, but you flash the device. And then, once you've got the device flashed, just leave it plugged in. Leave it plugged in, even when you're not using it, leave it plugged in, hopefully, near a window, hopefully at the highest elevation in your house. So if you have a second story, keep it plugged in up on your second story near a window. And then you are contributing to the network. Your node is a repeater when you're not using it. That is very helpful to everybody. And then, that's sort of step one. And then if you get through all that, do I have another? I guess that's it. Step two is like setting up a solar powered repeater, right? Because the real thing with all this, as far as like disaster preparedness, is if everybody had a bunch of solar powered repeaters, then if the grid goes down, the solar, or if the cell phone goes out, solar powered repeaters will keep working, and that's the real key. And then I would say if you've already done that, which is probably not that many people, a handful of people, get involved. And there's a couple ways to get involved. The best way to get involved is on the Discord server, the official Meshtastic Discord. There's like so much going on there. I can't even keep track of it all. But it's a really great group of people, and they're always, I'm into the solar powered part of it. There's a solar powered channel, so everybody is always talking about the stuff that's going on with their different ways of doing this. Right now, I'm just connecting the antenna here. So yeah, step 3 after you've gotten your Meshtastic node and you got a solar powered repeater going. Step 3 would be getting on the Discord and joining the community. And then step 4 is like, I would start a club. If you really love this stuff and you want to have more of these repeaters in your area, start a club. And I started the club, it was like 2 summers ago. And yeah, we got like 30 people involved now. I get emails every week from other people around the world that are like, hey, I'm in New Zealand or I'm in Hawaii or whatever, and I want to start a club, and what should I do? And it's like, it's easy. You just create a presence online, which basically means Instagram, YouTube. I mean, really, Instagram is probably where we get most of the people from. But I'm also on TikTok and YouTube and what else? I think that's it. And that's where you say, hey, we're going to have a meeting. You announce it on there. You might get a few people at the first meeting, but then you can get some more people by just having regular meetings, and you can reach out to the local ham radio club. I was able to find some great people through the local ham radio club that joined. They even have their own Discord server, and every time I have a meeting, they announce my meetings on the Discord servers for the ham radio members. So that's been super cool. Hat tip to Rusty. What is he, N4 BBS? He's been helping out with this quite a bit. He even had me come in and give a presentation to the club, which was pretty fun. I am trying to find my USB cable. There it is. All right. So we are so close to having a finished Meshtastic node, home stretch. Plug this thing into this thing. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to shove all this down into here. And just as this thing is dying on here, let's see, I gotta get my, there we go. All right, so we are very close to having a complete solar powered Meshtastic repeater. All I have to do is plug this thing into this thing, and we are online. And then obviously I need to flash this. So this is an unflashed node at this point. But there you go, green light, red light. We are set up. And now just gonna put everything in the box. Tighten down the box. Try not to clip anything here. All right. Boom. Where is my knife? Where is my knife? It's got my screwdriver. There it is. All right. Oh yeah, I was talking about how to start a club. So yeah, found a bunch of people through the local ham radio club. I would say out of the 30 people, it's probably about 5 to 10 people are from the local ham radio club. So that's been really cool. Yeah, put your meetings out on the socials, and you'll get some people that way. I've gotten some I don't know, UT professor and various people join up that way. Oh, I got in touch with the local UT, University Ham Radio Club. They got their own radio club, so I talked with them. They introduced me to some other people that run some repeaters up on the building, and that's how I was able to get up onto the building. They do repeaters for amateur radio, but then they also run the repeaters for I don't know, police and fire and EMS and all that around town. So they're very knowledgeable about how to weatherproof stuff. What else? Yeah, and then obviously a lot of local communities will have like local Discord, local Facebook group, local whatever. I don't know, different local other groups. So there's like there's like an Austin Discord, and there's like local neighborhood Facebook. So you can get on there and say, hey, we're having a meeting to talk about Meshtastic, and that's so I've gotta put a sticker on here. Yeah. Let's see. All right. And I got 2 more minutes until I gotta get on a phone call. So I am boom. Awesome Mesh. Solar powered Meshtastic repeater complete. That's all she wrote. Very, very, very simple. That's my go-to design right now. Probably gonna make 2 or 3 of these more today. But yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, get me on Instagram or TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Oh, go subscribe on TikTok, because I got to get 1,000 followers before I can live stream over there. I'm at like 300 or something. So yeah, go if you have the TikTok, go get me on there. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Send me any questions over DM, and I'm happy to talk about this stuff. All right, take it easy.